Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited as it's Friday and this is the Wrestling Wrap-Up. A handful of news brought to you in one easy to watch video. As far as today's news stories do go, we're going to talk about MJF and his big write-up in the Players Tribune. We got updates, injury updates I guess you can call it, on Kenny Omega and Britt Baker. One AEW wrestler who is leaving the company has been one of the Devil's Mask men. A top Japan wrestler is leaning towards going to WWE and so much more because, again, this is the Wrestling Wrap-Up. Every Monday and Friday right here live, youtube.com/PWU Unlimited, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited. And you can listen later on podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button to know when we post new videos and know when we do go live. Hit that join button to become a channel member. That way you get all the benefits there. You support the channel. And remember, if you're watching live, you can donate a super chat to make sure your comment, questions, or concerns do get read live on the air. Finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're getting a new game like Alan Wake 2, maybe you're getting Assassin's Creed Mirage, maybe an older game like Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 Remix, Hogwarts Legacy, one of the best-selling games of the year, or claiming the free game, which right now is Snakebird Complete. And use this code right here, PWU Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting into Fortnite, and you need stuff for Fortnite Lego, Rocket Racing, Fortnite Festival, or just regular Fortnite Battle Royale. Use this code, PWU Unlimited, PWU Unlimited, for all your Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. As far as the show goes, we're going to kick it off talking a little bit about what MJF wrote in his Players Tribune article that came out today, and some of the feedback I'm getting about this. So basically, I read the whole thing. Great read. MJF did a fantastic job here. And one of the big things he talked about was fatigue, being tired, being hurt. He even said he's on painkillers. So, today, MJF put out a big article in the Players Tribune. The AEW World Champions article covers a variety of vast topics, including Saturday's pay-per-view, his 5-year history in AEW, and more. Near the end of the piece, he commented on fans being a little burnt out on him and his current storyline going forward, as MJF wrote the following. I know our fans are a little tired of this run I've been on, and for the first time since this company started, I know there's some MJF fatigue, which is fine. By the way, no one stays hot forever. Right now, though, as I'm writing this, it's Wednesday morning. It's 3 days before World's End. It's 5 days from 5 years of MJF in AEW, and I don't know what comes next. He continued to say that he sometimes wonders if standing up to the anti-Semitism has made him less popular in 2023. MJF wrote, people are always telling me how getting bullied is a part of my backstory. Nope. Fuck you. It happened. Kids threw quarters at me and told me to pick it up, Jew boy. Not a backstory. And if you think this is the 80s good guy promo I was teasing a couple of paragraphs ago, it isn't. Actually, you want to know the truth? Sometimes I wonder if standing up to anti-Semitism would even be a, quote, babyface move anymore. No, For real, I legit wonder. I wonder if being a proud Jew like I am in 2023 has actually made me less popular as a wrestler. And if deep down, when someone says they have, quote, MJF fatigue, what they really mean is enough with the Jewish stuff already. I honestly don't know the answer to that. And I'm sure I'll get shit for asking the question. But that's where my thoughts are right now. It's, quote, fear the worst. I'm a Jew in America. And I'm fucking soul sick. He continued on stating, allow me to say this straight up, point blank. I don't support terrorism, Zionism, genocide, war, bombs, genocidal government, dead innocent Palestinians, dead innocent Israelis. I don't support people, any people, dying because of hate. I tell you what, I do support though, and what I definitely am. I am anti-hate. I'm sick to my stomach that people are calling for the death of Jews over something that's happened on the other side of the world. And I'm sick that Hamas, a literal terrorist organization, has fans on this side of the world. As on a daily basis, I'm having to read anti-Semitic shit from all kinds of people. Celebrities, hi Kanye, strangers, even people I know. It's very sad. We're all human, man. We all deserve rights. We all deserve freedom. We all deserve happiness and respect. I really wanted to clarify these things, and I hope I have. These are the serious conversations I have with the hot woman I'm in love with, who, by the way, is Palestinian. MJF would go on to talk about a couple other things. Let me pull up. I have some other notes here as well. Give me 1 second. Because he talked about his body and how he is not feeling good right now. Where did I put those notes? Give me 1 second. Here we go. MJF also talked about, how he's feeling. He said, I'm tired. I know it's not what you're supposed to say as a professional wrestler, especially not being not before a big world title defense in your hometown. I know I should take my vitamins, brother. Order up an expensive coffee to the 5-star hotel room I'm staying in. Thanks, Tony. And end this article by cutting an 80s good guy promo about the evil Samoa Joe. Let's sell some pay-per-views. But I don't know, man. I'm just so tired. That's the God's honest truth. My hip is a mess. My arm won't lift above my head. I'm on painkillers, which are not my thing. I can't sleep. MJF coming out here and talking about how he's so messed up. His hip is in a bad state. His shoulder's in a bad state. He's having to take painkillers to not be in pain, and that's not good. And I know I've talked about this a few times on different shows, but this goes in line with what I was told by an indie wrestler one time who worked a couple of AEW shows as an extra. They said there is a culture backstage in AEW to suck it up and do what you're supposed to do, to go out there and perform. He told me once, so I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to, anything. He worked for AEW twice as an extra. One time, he saw a top talent talking to their producer / coach, whatever AEW wants to call him. And they were going over what he was going to do that night. And he was like, yeah, but my back is really hurting, my knee, this and that. And the producer told him, oh, you'll be fine. Once you get out there, your adrenaline start pumping, you won't feel it, and then we'll ice you up afterwards. So, yeah. And we've seen other instances where Britt Baker's got a broken wrist, but she's working. He was out on television for months working on a broken wrist. We know Kenny Omega worked almost a year with many nagging injuries. Again, I've been told that there is a culture backstage in AEW, whether that comes from Tony Khan or some of the older guys that are now coaches in that company. It's you suck it up, You do the match or the segment that you're planning for, and then you figure out how to feel better afterwards. So this MJF stuff is kind of pointing towards that direction of, hey, I'm a pro wrestler. I have to suck it up and I have to go out there and work, no matter how bad I feel. Even if I have to take so many painkillers that it's hurting me even more because I can't sleep. So we'll see where this goes. Also, I've been talking to a few people today who read this article, and they're like, this sounds like a guy's exit from the company. This sounds like a guy who hasn't re-signed, who hasn't declared he is staying with AEW and could be leaving. Whether that is just leaving to take a break and coming back eventually, or leaving and going to WWE is unknown. But a lot of people that I've talked to said that this article, this post, whatever you want to call it, from MJF in the Players Tribune sounds like somebody who is at least taking some time off from AEW, who at least is going away after this weekend. So we'll see how it all does play out. But I think it is a very, very good read, and everybody should go read it. We do have it retweeted on our Twitter, and I'll put it in the description of this video as well. I mentioned Kenny Omega, who would work for a while on injuries, hernia, bad shoulder, bad neck, bad all kinds of things. Kenny Omega also recently just got diagnosed with diverticulitis. Because of that, he is going to be out for quite some time. In an update from Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, he did state that Omega is doing better. He said it's been 6 days since Omega was hospitalized. And by the way, he is doing better. He's got a long road ahead of him. I think Alvarez also mentioned that he has already gone back home. So that's good to see as well, that he's back home and now he's just on the road to recovery. He has to, take care of himself, take care of his body, take care of everything to get him back to where he can wrestle again. Remember, Brock Lesnar had this twice, diverticulitis. I think Vince even had diverticulitis once. So we'll see how it all does play out. But he is doing better. He is back home. And I say don't rush it. I say take as long as you need, Kenny Omega. We will still be here to cheer for you, to chant for you, to pop for your return whenever that is. Whether that is in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, a year and a half, it doesn't matter. Take your time. Another wrestler who's been out with an injury, that's Britt Baker. Britt Baker hasn't worked a match since... Let's see, when was Britt Baker's last match? He hasn't worked a match since September 16th. She lost to Chris Statlander with the TBS title on the line on an episode of Collision. And that is well because she's been out with an injury, and Tony Khan did confirm that. Now, Tony Khan yesterday during the media call said, yes, we have a number of people out right now with injury. Talking about Kenny Omega and others, and mentions Britt Baker. Well, no real word on why, but Britt Baker was at Dynamite this Wednesday in Orlando. If she is out injured, then maybe she was just there visiting. She lives in Orlando. They were in Orlando. It's not like she's got to travel really any far to get there. Maybe she was just backstage to be there. But Britt Baker has been out dealing with some sort of an injury. We don't know exactly what that injury is. And so we just have to sit and wait and hope that the doctor comes back sooner rather than later. Let me look one thing up really quickly. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. She was there Wednesday. That was confirmed both by Wrestling Observer and Fightful that she was there Wednesday, but no word on when she's actually going to work or do anything. And Britt Baker's been gone due to injury. Somebody who's going to be gone as of next Monday because they don't want to resign with the company is Shawn Spears. And it has been reported by Dave Meltzer on this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter that Shawn Spears is actually one of the people that have been under the mask for the devil. Not the devil himself, but he's been one of the devil's masked men. Meltzer wrote, quote, Spears hadn't been used much, but on recent TV, he was one of the devil's guys. Now, this goes in line with something that I've been told. I actually heard once, then it was only from one person, and it was kind of like third party, like one person heard it from somebody in the company and then passed it along to me, so I didn't hear it from actually the person in the company, so this is why I never said anything about this. But at one point, there was a belief that the devil and his men, I don't know who would have been the devil and who would have been the men, but the devil and his men would have all been the former Pinnacle, saying that MJF used them. MJF turned his back on them when they were not needed anymore. And maybe all this random Wardlow stuff is going to lead to maybe Wardlow being the devil or one of the devil's men. I don't know, but that was something at one point. And remember, Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp keeps saying, hey, all the people under the masks, all the hooded men, the masked men, I've been told are who's going to portray them going forward. So it's not like with Retribution where they threw a bunch of people out there as Retribution and said eventually we'll figure out who they're all going to be in WWE. Sean keeps iterating that he's been told that the people portraying the masked men are the masked men. So if Sean Spears was one of them, that could go in line with the theory of it being the former Pinnacle group. That would be FTR, that would be Wardlow, that would be Sean Spears. Now that's 4. You still need another guy to be the devil. I don't know. Maybe it is Max. Maybe Max is reforming, and this is just me spitballing an idea. This is just me not knowing anything now. Maybe Max is reforming the Pinnacle, and it's all been a charade, where a facade, whatever you want to call it, where we think the devil and the masked men are against him. This has all been their master plan. I don't know. I really don't know, but that's just something that I've heard. I've heard others reiterate that as well, that it could be the former Pinnacle. Now, the one thing that most fans want it to be is Undisputed Era. A, I don't think they're bringing back Bobby Fish. And B, I do think Adam Cole being the devil is a good idea, though. So we'll see how that all just play out. But at least for 1 week, at least once, Sean Spears was one of the masked men. Now, tomorrow is the AEW World's End pay-per-view, and Tony Khan talked a little bit about that during the press conference, well, not press conference, but media call yesterday, and said there's going to be some big moments and relevant revelations on this show. Tony stated the following. It feels like we're getting close to that point. I do expect some big revelations and big moments at World's End. It's its own idea, and it's something that I'm excited about. I do feel like coming close to the culmination, and it does feel like the secret will be revealed at World's End, and I'm looking forward to it. It's been very different than the other aspects of AEW. One aspect of it has been really interesting, and it's been something to keep people hooked. And those people that want to see that kind of episodic story is really something that has a lot of people talking and built a lot of interest for World's End is the identity of the devil. So basically, he's teasing that we may learn who the devil is tomorrow. We may learn the identity of the devil and his henchmen. Now, I've seen a lot of people complaining about this storyline, saying that it's taking too long, saying that they're dragging it out, saying that it's like the Retribution. It's like the Aces and Eights. It's like, what was that one that I saw someone say today that reminded them of a WCW thing? Hold on, give me 1 second. Oh, where was it? Oh, now I'm not going to be able to find it. But I saw someone compare it to a WCW storyline as well. Oh, no. No, I can't find it. But yeah, people are saying, it's been drawn out. It's been this, it's been that. We liked it at the start, but now you're just teasing too much stuff. And yeah, so we'll see where it all does lead to. Maybe we get a revelation tomorrow. Maybe we get a reveal. Maybe we do. Maybe we don't. Maybe we get another tease. Maybe we get another hint. We'll have to wait and see. Now, CM Punk is back with WWE. CM Punk just wrestled his first match in almost a decade with WWE this past week in Madison Square Garden. And, that all comes after he was fired by AEW. Tony Khan said that his life was in danger and this and that. And while speaking with Hauser Wrestling on their Rumor and Innuendo show, CM Punk and Ace Steel's lawyer Stephen P. New was asked how long after the AEW All Out incident he became involved with the case and what he thought about how it had been reported on. New stated, quote, "I was involved in the situation very early on. And so, even before Ace and Punk reached out a good bit later, I had been aware of what's going on. And in all terms of what was being publicly reported, who knows where all? I mean, it's pro wrestling. Who knows where all of those stories were coming from? Some seem to be very accurate, and some seem to come from, people with knowledge. And some seem to be fairly off base. Almost exactly after the All Out incident, Punk was terminated by AEW following another incident backstage at All In with Jack Perry. Hausman states that he pressed and knew whether Punk had to sign a non-compete or NDA as part of his release, which was heavily rumored. New stated, quote, "I can't really speak to that with respect to Punk. What I can say is that contracts vary for whether or not non-competes remain in place, the types of terminations, and that kind of thing. But in terms of him specifically, there's no way that I can get into that." Following Punk's termination from the company, AEW President Tony Khan issued both a videos and a video statement to the fans. During the video that played on AEW Collision, Khan infamously stated, quote, "My life was in danger at a wrestling show due to his proximity to the incident. I also asked New how he felt about the charged comment that Khan made, stating, quote, or New said, quote, he's welcome to comment on however he felt about whatever." So, not much to this here, but it's like, yeah, Punk did have to sign something. The rumor is that it's a forever NDA, and they are never, ever, ever allowed to talk about All Out and the brawl that ensued in 2021. So that means when Punk writes his book, he's got to omit all of that, even though that would be a big part of whatever book he's writing. I'm not saying he's writing one right now, but if he were to write a book, man, it just really sucks that he probably can't talk about it. Moving forward, got some WWE news to talk about, as it looks like WWE is working with All Japan Pro Wrestling, but another company in Japan may be interested in working with WWE as well, as Dave Meltzer wrote the following. Besides the new deal working with All Japan, WWE has also expressed interest in working with Stardom. Nothing is finalized that we know of regarding that, but WWE is confirmed interest. So we know from the past, the last couple of years, WWE has not really gone on the record of saying they want to work with Stardom, but has put out teases, people within the company, that they want to work with people from Stardom. So this would be great if WWE, for real, starts opening up relationships. They're sending Charlie Dempsey to All Japan. If you watch that porno intro video, I guess you can call it, you heard all that news. William Regal made the announcement, yes, my son Charlie Dempsey will be going to All Japan to challenge for their Triple Crown Championship. And so now the door opens of, okay, they're working with All Japan. Is it a one-time thing? Are they just sending Charlie Dempsey over there and that's it? Are they going to do more? They're going to bring people from All Japan to work WWE shows. They're going to send more NXT wrestlers, more main roster wrestlers maybe even, to work these shows. We don't know. But it is an interesting thing, because I think WWE, and they kind of tried this in the UK with Progress and whatnot, sending people to do shows and this and that is great, because Not only, because here's the thing. You're working WWE. Say you're an NXT wrestler. You're working the same people every week, and it's going to get stale. You're not going to progress, especially when you're working with people. Say you're an NXT wrestler, and you're working with people of your experience level. If you're not working with people better than you, you're not getting better. You're not learning new things. If you're working with people at your level or lower, then you're only just doing, okay, well, I was taught this in class yesterday, so let's add this to my match. I learned this the other day. Let's try this, but I don't know how it's really going to work because I've never done it before, and this guy's never done it before, or girl's never done it before. So sending their wrestlers out to then go work other promotions in other countries especially is great because it's going to open up their repertoire, I guess you could say, their knowledge bank of, hey, I've now learned to do this kind of stuff. I've worked with this guy. Let me implement it back here. That's why they send main roster talent to NXT, because the main roster talent have more experience working all different kinds of people. And so then you go down to NXT and you help train, you help teach, and you see who's doing well. Excuse me. So I think this is a great idea for WWE if they want to actually go forward and do it. We don't know how many people are going to be sent other places, if at all. But we know Charlie Dempsey is. I want to say on the 6th, he'll be challenging for the Triple Crown Championship in All Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, speaking of WWE and Stardom, there's been word recently that one big Stardom wrestler could be going to WWE. And according to Dave Meltzer in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, he says that Julia is leaning towards joining WWE in 2024. Meltzer wrote, quote, Julia right now is seen as likely to be coming here, WWE, in 2024. Her contract expires with Stardom in March. She may not be coming right away, but as of right now, she's leaning towards coming here in 2024. This would be huge. This would be big. This would be a tremendous pickup for WWE to get somebody like Julia. Julia is just amazing. She is great to watch. She's got that, like, already. I get it. Being a star in Japan and being a star here in America are two different things. But I feel like she's already got that aura of a big-time American television wrestling star. She's got the look. She's got the ring presence. The one knock I have heard on what people think she's going to really need to work on if she's going to go to WWE is her stiff kicks and her stiff punches. In Japan, you're taught to lay it in. You're taught to just go. And so she's going to have to learn that balance of, well, you know, these girls in WWE, at least some of them, aren't used to being just actually punched or kicked. And that was a big hindrance for Kenta Hideo Itami when he came to WWE, because he was told the same thing. Hey, you're known for laying it in. You're known for kicking and punching hard. We don't do that here. And so he tried to adopt the WWE style, and it just didn't work for him. So I hope with Julia, it doesn't mess her up like it did Kenta, like it did the former Hideo Itami. I hope she figures out a way to still have the same types of matches, but maybe not be as stiff and as hard hitting as she is known to be. Speaking of women in WWE, we got a little update on Sonya Deville and her arrest from earlier this year on gun charges. This write-up does come from Ian Carey, F4W Online, as he writes the following. Sonya Deville no longer has a firearms charge to worry about. The 30-year-old was arrested in Atlantic City earlier this year and charged with one count of unlawful weapons possession. Now, let me go off and give you some knowledge here, because I know a lot about this, because I teach classes about this. So what happened was, when Sonya Deville had the guy break into her home, she got scared for her well-being. Of course you would. She went and bought a firearm in the state of Florida. She then went in Florida and got her CCW, your concealed carried weapons license, which means when you're out and about, as long as it can't be seen, you can have a gun on your hip. You can have a gun in your glove box. You can have a gun in your car because you have a license to carry. Again, concealed though. It can't just be, and it's not like Texas where you can just put it on your hip and everybody can see it. You go to Walmart, whatever. As long as it's concealed and you're in a place that doesn't have a sign on their door that says no weapons allowed, you're good to carry it around. So she had that in Florida. What happened though is, and this is still the weird part of the story, a parking valet at an Atlantic City casino discovered the handgun in her glove box and immediately contacted police. That's the weird part. What was he doing going through her glove box? Regardless, police showed up. They found the gun. They arrested her for having the gun on her in the state of New Jersey. Now you ask, well, she had her CCW. What's the problem? She did everything she needed to do. She had her CCW for Florida. Not all states recognize other states' CCWs. New Jersey doesn't. Some states will recognize from this state and that state and this state. New Jersey, just like California, they don't recognize any. So if you have a CCW from Florida, don't go to New Jersey with your gun unless you also have a CCW from New Jersey. Back onto this report. Speaking to Courier Post, the Atlantic City Prosecutor's Office confirmed Deville was entered into a 6-month diversion program in May. They noted that the entry into the program is, quote, routine in cases with this fact pattern. Program is specifically designed for out-of-state gun owners who failed to obtain proper documentation of their weapon before entering New Jersey. Deville completed the program in November, and the firearms charge against her has been officially resolved. Her attorney of record in the case was Louis Barebone of Atlantic City. Deville is currently out of action with a torn ACL. So it is good to see that she got all that taken care of. I knew that nothing was really going to come of it. She was going to be fine. She just had to go through the process of, hey, this is why you were arrested. Now you need to learn about the rules. Basically, they made her take a class on the laws and the rules of having a gun in the state of New Jersey. So that's all it really was. Nothing too bad. Nothing to kick nose up about or anything like that. It was just, hey, go out there, do what you got to do, and you're going to be fine. And I knew she was going to be fine no matter what. But with that, this episode of the Wrestling Wrap-Up is brought to you by Upscale Bling. Let's hear from them right now. Are you looking to up your accessory game? Why not do so with Upscale Bling? Upscale Bling is your source for in-style chains, watches, rings, and many more awesome products to level up your wardrobe. Not only are their products high quality, but they're also affordable. Don't take just my word for it. Go check them out right now at blingupscale.com. Head over to blingupscale.com right now and use code PW Unlimited at checkout to get 20% off your entire order. Again, that's code PW Unlimited at checkout for 20% off at blingupscale.com. Check it out today. We have one final story to talk about here on the Wrestling Wrap-Up. It's a New Japan story. It has to do with a couple of different things. Hiroshi Tanahashi is the new president of the company. That the Takami Obari is out. And now we've learned, well, he may have been outed because of Kazuchika Okada. I've just come from Ian Carey of the Wrestling Observer website, stating, quote, Kazuchika Okada wanted Takami Obari out of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Obari stepped down from his role as NJPW president last week following a shareholder and board of directors meeting on December 23rd. Hiroshi Tanahashi was announced as his replacement. Dave Meltzer covered NJPW's front office changes in today's Wrestling Observer newsletter. Meltzer writes that NJPW, losing many of its top stars to other companies and failing to sell out the G1 finals this summer, played a role in the change, but Obari's relationship with staff and talent was also a factor. Meltzer writes, quote, another key reason has been that there were issues with staff members and Obari's usage of power over them. Another major reason was that Obari had heat with a number of people, including the company's top star, Kazuchika Okada. Okada was said to have wanted him out. Others said that Obari never really understood the wrestling business and didn't respect the value of Okada. One person said that Obari saw Okada as the lead role actor in a touring show. Changes in management comes just weeks after Sports Illustrated reported that Okada was, quote, seriously entertaining signing with another company other than NJPW. Meltzer's coverage of New Japan's management changes also include comments from former NJPW staff. One former staffer wrote of Tanahashi replacing Obari, stating, depending on how successful Tanahashi as president will be, it could be one of the best business decisions made by Bushiroad about NJPW. Since 2013, all presidents were Bushiroad people. Kaname Tezuka and Katsuhiko Harada, or people chosen by Bushiroad, like Harold May and Obari. It was the way Bushiroad controlled NJPW, but they were all people with either little or zero experience in the industry, so they couldn't be popular enough among the NJPW talent and employees. Well, it was one of the reasons why all of them didn't last long. Tanahashi has no such issues and should be meant for a long term as a president that would give NJPW stable leadership. Though the power structure will remain the same, Bushiroad will always remain the highest decision maker. Tanahashi's reign and regime should influence their power. So, yeah. Another former staffer stated, I think it's great. He's going to be a guy who changes how you do business. I know he sees NJPW as being the WWE of Japan, and he is young enough to enact changes and get New Japan out of the dark ages of how they do business. So this is a very interesting story that's been going for the last week or so. You know, Obari's out. They're bringing in Tanahashi as president, but we still don't really know what that means. Tanahashi did slightly speak on this at the press conference last week or earlier this week. And the big question is, how often is he now going to wrestle that he's also the president? Is he still going to remain the ace of New Japan as a wrestler? Or is this him transitioning out of that wrestler role into a management role and being like, hey, I've been hurt for a while, so now it's time for me to take a step back? Remember, he's been around since like 2001, I want to say. Let's see. Hiroshi Tanahashi. He debuted with New Japan 1999. Okay. No. He started training in 99. Oh, no. In his first match at the end of 99, in a match against Shinya Makabe, alongside fellow rookies, Katsuyori Shibata, Shinsuke Nakamura. And they were called the New Three Musketeers. Interesting. I don't know any of that. But with that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, no new episode of SmackDown tonight, so we won't be doing a podcast after SmackDown tonight. Tomorrow is AEW World's End, so in the morning, I will have my preview, predictions, and betting odds video. Then tomorrow evening, we'll have our World's End pay-per-view recap. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. Maybe even have a great New Year's if we don't see you before then. If you don't come into one of our live streams before then, and have a good one. See you next time, guys. All right, if you're still watching live on Twitch,